Recently, I made a YouTube post that mentions LGBT headcanons, and I know that's like stepping in a minefield, but most of the comments were supportive. There may have been some more mean comments that were just automatically flagged by YouTube, didn't see them, but there are still people that I've debated with about this whole thing. Even long before this post, I've had people argue with me about Flaky mostly. There have been ridiculous arguments such as, well, Flaky couldn't choose a bathroom because the pictures on it were similar. Well, how come nobody else got confused by the pictures, and why would they write the scene like that? It's kind of a random choice if the context is not about Flaky's gender confusion. Also, I can see the difference between the pictures. It's like our bathrooms. One has a dress. And some of the other common arguments about Flaky are also going to be addressed in this. So here's what the post is. I provided a link and it takes you to this page. Here's what the description says. Disclaimer! None of what I claim about official characters is canon to the official series. It's only canon to my own Happy Tree friends. If you've been interested in what I've had to say about my personal Happy Tree Friends universe, and if you're a fan of LGBT headcanons, you may have a few minutes of fun with this. I discovered Google Forms and made a quiz about the gender and sexual and romantic identities of my Happy Tree friends. So here's the debate. Oh! So as I'm recording this, I found a new reply to me from one of the people in question. I'm just gonna start with this one, and I'm going to blind react to the latest reply to me. All of the characters are straight and cis. Sorry. In your Happy Tree friends, yes. In mine, no. I have plenty, a lot actually, who are cisgender and hetero, but not all. If the creators had confirmed them as such, I would respect that, but they didn't. In fact, their latest thing said about Flaky is that her gender is open to interpretation. As said in the image above, they don't care. I always respect what's confirmed and what's shown. I respect that Giggles and Petunia were shown liking males, and I respect that Cuddles, Disco, Mime, Russell, Handy, and Flippy were shown liking females. So I wouldn't headcanon any of them as homo. But there was no ruling out of any of them being bi or some form of asexual. And here are all my headcanons for all of those characters. Cuddles, straight. Giggles, straight. Disco Bear, straight. Russell, straight. Mime, straight. Handy, straight. Flippy, straight but demisexual. Petunia, straight but apothosexual. See, a couple of those had asexual in it, but notice there was no bi. So I'm not talking just for me, I'm talking for all fans with headcanons. You say there's no ruling out of any of them being bisexual or asexual, but where's your evidence for that? We need evidence for a headcanon? I know the creators don't have the same intentions as me. They're not this detailed about Happy Tree Friends. It's the silly kind of cartoon that doesn't even have continuity. They don't care. Anyway, continuing. In that case, you could consider any straight character to be those things, so it's not really a substantial interpretation. Well, they're not confirmed straight. They could be bi. They could be something else. You know what's funny is you're up in my face saying, well, who are you to say they're this and that? Well, who are you to say they're straight? You know, the same logic applies, doesn't it? Continuing. And it's not respecting straight orientation if you're thinking the possibility that they're bisexual or asexual. I'll get to this. Flaky is a girl. She is voiced by a girl. This is my least favorite argument about Flaky. It's bad. And the actress confirmed it, and she's very feminine. I hate this argument too. I hate it. I hate it. Warren Graff also confirmed she's a girl, and writers have the most authority. I don't completely agree with that. I mean, I'd say the creator would have most authority than anybody else. Or, you know, whoever designed Flaky. Apparently a different person designed Flaky, and that person designed Flaky as a boy. I'll just refute all of the LGBTQ stuff until given evidence. Unless that's what headcanons are supposed to be. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think you know what a headcanon is. No, you don't need evidence for a headcanon. I replied, I said I respect what's shown. Giggles was shown liking boys, but that doesn't automatically mean hetero, it just means she's not homo. Bi is still a valid guess since it means both boys and girls. Giggles' sexuality was technically never confirmed or shown in other ways, so it's not wrong for fans to headcanon her as bi. My Giggles is hetero. Yeah, see, I don't always take the opportunity to make a character LGBT coded and ignore that cishet exists. I know there are people that do that, that overdo their headcanons and make everybody LGBT coded, but not me. Continuing. I'm not even trying to claim any of these as official labels anyway, as stated in the top of the linked document. They're only canon to my Happy Tree friends. And then, in response to this, not respecting straight orientation, I said this. Also, just by your logic, wouldn't assuming everyone is hetero by default not be respecting LGBT? It's too bold to say everyone is cishet until proven LGBT anyway. Did you call me hetero until I came out as not? There are several people who assume I'm lesbian or trans before I tell them I'm cis female and plain aroace. And people ask me for my preferred pronouns. I don't find that disrespectful, I find it the opposite. Nobody should be defaulting to just cishet. About Flaky. Actually, the choices in the studio were divided. Some say girl, some say boy. In the end, they have it open for interpretation and they claim it as such for themselves and for the fans. This is said by Ken Navarro, the creator. Does he not have any authority? Yes, some of the writers say girl. They're the part of the crew who are just team girl. What about Rode? Rhodey? I'm pretty sure I've heard this name said out loud, but I can't remember how it's pronounced, I'm sorry. He thinks of her as a boy. Does he not have enough authority either? All the ones who confirmed her as girl likely mean in biological standards anyway, which is not the topic here. I believe she is female, physically, but they outright wrote her struggling to choose a gender-labeled bathroom, which is a common struggle for transgender folks. And both he and she pronouns were used in a blurb video on purpose, and in storyboards, and in Ken Navarro's reply to someone about Flaky, he, she, and her, his, implying that any pronouns are welcome. And about her voice actress? How is that relevant? Is Sniffles a girl then? Is Bart Simpson a girl? Is Edna Mode a man? Is Erwin from Billy and Mandy a grown white woman instead of a young black boy? Also, how is her being feminine relevant either? I'm not feminine. Am I actually a boy? Oh yeah, that was a long one, but it was worth it. Okay, here's the reply I haven't seen yet. Giggles is in love with Cuddles in multiple episodes. She's straight. If that's not technically confirmed, I don't know what is. Bisexuality is the attraction to both sexes. There is no evidence of any Happy Tree Friends character being attracted to both sexes. Well, is there any evidence of them not? See, that's what makes it fun. That's what a headcanon is. Again, you consider the possibility of bisexuality when there is no evidence. That's what I meant by saying it's disrespectful to ask any heterosexual person if they're bi if there is no indication. Just like the Happy Tree Friend characters who are all shown to be straight if there is a romantic scene unfolding. Okay, so if you see a girl and a guy out in the open, you just assume both of them are straight. Yeah, I have a hard time dealing with the cishet is default kind of mindset and straight superiority kind of vibes that I get from these debates. The Flaky bathroom joke was a reference to the debate whether she was a girl or boy. That's because they don't care what people think. If they really cared about people thinking she's a girl, they would have showed her going to the girls' bathroom. They wouldn't have made this joke in the first place. Don't you think it's a little strange that they would have Flaky herself not be sure about her own gender? Is this not giving fans the okay to just think what they want? Also, did we forget which bathroom she went into? It wasn't the girls' bathroom, let's be honest. So whenever Giggles and Petunia are dying and screaming in their bathroom, why is Flaky not reacting? Are you going to say she's deaf? And why is there no blood in the background in the stalls whenever it cuts to her face? I'm pretty sure she went in the boys' bathroom. And I love that people have been taking that into consideration ever since I brought that up a few years ago. People are using that to support their own headcanons, and I think that's beautiful. Do that. It's ambiguous. Her gender is ambiguous. That was the point of the joke. I assumed you were LGBT because of all this talk about Happy Tree Friends sexualities. I mean, I am. I'm asexual, aromantic. That is LGBT, but... So you are only more likely to support LGBT or make LGBT representation if you are LGBT yourself? Is that what's being said here? And I don't know what androace is. Aroace. Asexual, aromantic. The writer said in a Reddit Q&A that Ken likes to start shit and that really Flaky is a girl. Ken Pontac is another writer, and he said yes to all of the questions about Flaky's gender in a stream from 2012. Yeah, somebody asked, is Flaky a boy or a girl, and he said both. And somebody else said, Flaky has no gender, and he said, yes, absolutely right. And about that thread, here's the entire thread. Here's Ken Navarro's answer. Co-creator designed Flaky as a boy and always assumed Flaky was a boy, and I thought of her as a girl. When we asked all the other people who worked on the show what they thought the answer was, it was split. So we left the issue unanswered. It doesn't matter what Flaky's gender is. He, she is whatever you want her and him to be. It makes him, her a more interesting character. I'm not getting any asshole troll vibes from that reply. Here's Warren Graff saying, oh, Ken's lying. Look at the responses. I knew it! I knew it! Ha! Those kinds of responses to this, none of that from this. Ken Navarro. People just agree with what they want to hear, and they don't want to hear, you can think whatever you want. Oh, I knew it! Yay! My favorite! And then when Ken says his answer, oh, I always thought it was a girl. So why is Ken automatically the one who's lying? What if it's Warren who's lying or joking around? What would be the point of starting a Reddit, allowing people to ask questions that you wouldn't give genuine answers to? I can't see him doing that. That's stupid. And for the people who already believed in this, that Flaky could be whatever they want, why would he give them false hope like that? Actually, there's more than one thread here. Warren once again responded to somebody, Flaky is a girl. And Ken says, don't listen to Warren, and once again says, Flaky is neither a boy or a girl, and is both a boy and girl. He or she is whatever you want her or him to be. See, he's saying the same thing Ken Pontac said. Again, this sounds genuine. Why would he lie about this? And why would he keep joking after this person says this? I'm commenting on this post in particular because I've been having some problems with gender identity the past few years, and I really like your description of Flakies, so thanks. Ken replies, right on. He's genuinely encouraging what he's saying. He's not joking. Ken Pontac also said in response to why doesn't Disco Bear flirt with Flaky, the reason is that we want to keep the mystery of Flaky's gender going. Warren Graff seems to be the only one in the crew who has a solid, strong opinion about Flaky's gender. Ken Navarro doesn't care. Ken Pontac doesn't care. I'm not changing anything about what I think. I believe Ken. He's still the creator, and he still said with his own fingers that Flaky can be whatever you want him to be. Why would he joke about that? If he actually cared about people thinking Flaky was something other than a girl, why would he risk ruining that further by saying this? And why would he do it as a joke? What I was referring to was the video interview where Flaky's actress states that Flaky is a girl. So we've got one of the main writers saying Ken is a troll, and also the actress herself saying she's a girl. Well, the actress is not a writer. And also, I did see what her actress had to say one time. She said, I'm proof that Flaky is a girl. That's not proof, though. Is Edna Mode from The Incredibles a man? She's voiced by a man. I already made this argument. Is almost every anime boy in existence a girl? We don't even have to go through this argument. People have been making this argument ever since Cleveland from Family Guy, his voice actor, quit because he believes that black guys should be voiced by black people and white people should be voiced by white people. Do all the monsters in Monsters, Inc. have to be voiced by a fucking monster? I'm not sure if I have the strength to respond to this. I sort of already responded to it in this video. And then here's this up here. It was confirmed by the creators that Flaky's a girl! Plus, Flaky even sounds girlish, so... Girl! Copy-pasted stuff that I've already said earlier, and then also using because of how she sounds is a transphobic statement when it's already been clarified that I'm talking about identity. And like I said, I do headcanon Flaky as physically female. She just has a non-binary identity. Who cares? So what I've learned here, don't trust Ken Navarro with anything he says about his own fucking cartoon. And the genders of every cartoon character has to be synced with their actor. Sorry Cartoon Network, you did it wrong. Dexter should have been voiced by a boy. Sorry Nickelodeon, Timmy Turner should have been voiced by a boy. Sorry Happy Tree Friends, Sniffles should have been voiced by a boy. I'm actually not trying to be mean about this, I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny to say. I'm showing this to mostly show what I have to say. I'm not making this video for drama purposes, but rather the opposite. I want to show what I had to say, and too many people to this day argue about Flaky, and it would just be great if there was any chance that the whole Flaky thing can be diffused. And it would be great if people watched this video and took it as a learning experience. Yeah, as you can see by the smiley face here, I was trying to keep things nice. A genuine smiley face. I was trying to be civil. Still trying to be civil, but I'm getting a little mad now, so I think it's time to stop. Yeah, if anybody else tries to argue in here, I'm just not gonna say anything, because I think I've said everything I needed to say. It feels complete. I feel complete. What I've had to say, it feels complete, especially with the video now. I want everybody to just have an open mind, be supportive. Especially with Flaky. Her gender is ambiguous, meaning it's open to interpretation. They've said that. Whether you want to take that as a joke or not, I guess that's up to you. I personally believe Ken Navarro. If you think the characters are a certain something, fine. Just don't try to shut down what I think, alright? Don't shut down things people think, unless it's in some way problematic. Now, for example, Vivzy Pop, she has confirmed the identities of most of her characters. So if someone says, well, I want Octavia to not be asexual because I want to ship her with Luna, then there's a problem. I personally find that a problem. But the Happy Tree Friend characters do not have confirmed identities. Thank you for listening, thank you for understanding, thank you for respecting.